Now we're going to talk to you about your soybeans. And here is, as far as soybeans go, we're in the unifoliate stage of soybean development. And so we have our cotyledons right here, and here's our first unifoliates coming out. These are a little bit young, and as we get this heat, they're going to really grow rapidly. Here's the soybean that we picked a little bit earlier that's showing some of that halo effect that you see from Illevo. That halo effect is part of the chemical that gets soaked up in these cotyledons, and you see this temporary halo effect. That will be gone as you see this unifoliate tissue is just fine, but you do see some of this temporary burning. You can also see some burning from some of your soil applied PPO inhibiting herbicides. Some of those would be like Authority, Authority XL, Spartan, Sonic, Authority First, even like Broadax. Broadax has dual and sulfentrazone in it. Zidua Pro or Optil Pro, all those have PPO, soil applied PPO products in it. What we saw when that cool wet scenario happened, where we had the bean just cracking right through the soil, that bean stayed there because of the cool weather, and all the rain came down, splashed on the ground, splashed that PPO inhibiting herbicide onto that cotyledon, burning the cotyledon. And when we did that, it can cause this burning here on the hypocotyl. I'm sorry, I was talking to cotyledons. On the hypocotyl, that would then end up killing most of this tissue up on top. For a lot of times, we might have lost about 10 to 15% of our stand due to some of this PPO burn. In a lot of cases, if we planted 140,000 population in our soybean field and we lost 10,000, 15,000 in population, as long as it's even across the field, we should be just fine as far as still being able to hit our maximum yield potential. So that's some of the issues that I saw out there. And as far as for herbicide injury, but these guys, this is water hemp that's starting to emerge. And this water hemp's about an inch tall right now. We have unifoliate soybeans, about inch tall water hemp that's coming here. Ideally, I like to see 1 trifoliate to 2 trifoliates on our soybeans before we start going out there with PPO inhibiting herbicides that can cause a burn to our soybeans. The more leaf tissue we have, the quicker we'll be able to recover from that PPO herbicide post-emergence. But this guy, if he gets started, he can grow from emergence to 2 inches is 10 days in length. We just talked about the weather forecast for next week. We got about an inch tall water hemp. We got 90-degree temperatures next week with 25-mile-an-hour winds. It's not going to be conducive to spray. This guy will be 4 inches to 5 inches by the end of next week. So we got to pay attention to our weed height. If we're using a PPO inhibiting herbicide post-emergence and we have glyphosate-resistant water hemp, this guy is going to be off-label. We'll not be able to get him. We need to get him when he's 2 inches tall. If it's past 2 inches, our odds go down significantly of killing this guy. From 2 inches to 4 inches, we drop 20% in control of being able to control this. We go from about 90% to about 70%. That's not good odds for us. Sometimes we get lucky. That means we got to do everything right. We got to have right pressure, we got to have right speed, we got to have right tips, we got to have the right carrier volume to get 4-inch tall, 6-inch tall water hemp. We need to do the right things. Doing the right things is getting after these if we have any sort of size to them. If I have to do a trade-off between do I have 2 trifoliates of soybeans or do I have unifoliates and too big of weeds? There's going to be a trade-off there. You better go after the weeds, because we know that if we kill the weeds, we have odds of, if we do have another flush comeback, the one true thing is we're going to have small weeds again. So we have to get after these weeds if we have any sort of weed pressure there. And I think that's about all we have going on right now. We need to get after our weeds. We need to and get after that application sooner rather than later.